Good morning, students. In the earlier video of lesson number 1, matter in our surroundings, we have discussed about the characteristics of particles of matter, the physical states of matter. There are three physical states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. We have seen their properties. Hope you all might have revised it. The properties of solid, liquid, gas. Some of the important points in their properties we will just discuss. In case of solid, the properties suggest it has definite shape and definite volume. It is rigid and can't flow. Intermolecular force of attraction is more. Intermolecular space between the particles is less. It is not compressible. Next, properties of liquid. Liquid does not have a fixed shape. It takes the shape of the container in which it is filled. It has definite volume. It is not rigid, so it can flow. Intermolecular force of attraction between the liquid is less in comparison to that of solid. The intermolecular space between the particles of liquid is more in comparison to that of solid. Liquids are compressible to some extent. Next, properties of gases. Gases are not rigid, so it can flow. It does not have a particular shape nor volume. Intermolecular force of attraction of the particles of gases is very less. Intermolecular space of the particles of gases are more. It is highly compressible. Hope you might have recalled the properties of the three physical states of matter, that is solid, liquid, and gas. Now moving on further, can the matter change its state? Yes. It depends on two factors, that is temperature and pressure. First is effect of the change of temperature. You might have seen that the ice gets converted into water and water gets converted into water vapor. That is, on keeping an ice cube at normal room temperature, it gets melted to water. Whereas the water, when boiled, it gets converted into water vapor. Here, in the two changes which we are able to see, that is ice getting converted into water and water getting converted into water vapor, heat is provided. Whereas in the second instant, water vapor getting converted into water and water getting converted into ice, we are able to see that when the water vapor is allowed to cool down, it gets converted into water. Whereas when the water is cooled, it gets converted into ice. So let us take few activities to understand the concept. So in your textbook, you can see activity 1, which suggests take about 150 gram of ice in a beaker and suspend a laboratory thermometer so that the bulb is in contact with the ice. Bulb means the tip of the thermometer is in contact with the ice. In this, you will be seeing the conversion of the solid state of water into its liquid state. That is, conversion of ice into water. Now, in the second activity, the diagram which is mentioned is conversion of water into water vapor. That is, conversion of liquid state into gaseous state. So, we'll take it one activity at a time. The ice starts melting at 0 degree Celsius. due to which all the ice gets converted into water at 0 degree Celsius. So here you are able to see that at a particular temperature, the complete ice which is in the solid form gets converted into its liquid form, that is water. And there is no change in the temperature. Now in case of second activity, you are converting the water which is obtained in the first activity into water vapor. So you need to start boiling the water obtained in the beaker after melting of ice by stirring the water with the help of a rod. Keep a note of the temperature in the thermometer while carrying out this process. What do you observe? The water starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius and gets converted into water vapor at the same temperature, that is 100 degrees Celsius. So conclusion in both the cases is, while conversion of ice to water takes place, the temperature remains constant. Same way in the second instant, while the conversion of water to water vapor takes place, the temperature remains constant. We'll take this activity one more time. The activity suggests in first one, you need to take 150 gram of ice in a beaker and suspend a laboratory thermometer so that the bulb is in contact with the ice. Allow the ice to melt and get converted into its liquid state, that is water. In the next activity, make use of that water, boil it with the help of a Bunsen burner and try to convert it into its gaseous state, that is water vapor. What are your observations? The ice starts melting at 0 degrees Celsius, due to which all the ice gets converted into water at 0 degree Celsius. Now, as the complete solid form of water, ice, is converted into water, in order to obtain the conversion of the liquid state into gaseous state, start boiling the water obtained in the beaker after melting of ice by stirring the water with the help of a glass rod. Keep the note of the thermometer during this process. The water starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius temperature and gets converted into vapor at the same temperature. So the conclusion in both the activities suggests that while conversion of ice into water, the temperature remains constant, while the conversion of water to water vapor, the temperature remains constant. The heat supplied during the change of state, the temperature is remaining constant, which is called latent heat. An important definition, define latent heat. The heat supplied during the change of state, the temperature is remaining constant, which is called latent heat. On increasing the temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles increases. The particles can overcome the force of attraction and enables the matter to change its state. So this is the conclusion which we are able to get through these two activities. That is, due to the increase in temperature, the kinetic energy of the particles increases. So the particles can overcome the force of attraction and enables the matter to change its state. The temperature at which a solid melts to become a liquid is called its melting point. The melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. We'll just see one more time. The temperature at which solid melts to become a liquid is called its melting point. Melting point of ice is 0 degree Celsius. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of solid into liquid at its melting point is called the latent heat of fusion. I repeat, what do you mean by latent heat of fusion? The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of a solid into liquid at its melting point is called latent heat of fusion. Next, the temperature at which a liquid starts boiling to become a gas is called its boiling point. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. So what do you mean by boiling point? The temperature at which liquid starts boiling to become gas is called its boiling point. Boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius. The amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas at its boiling point is called latent heat of vaporization. One more time, the amount of heat energy required to change 1 kg of liquid into gas at its boiling point is called its latent heat of vaporization. I'll just give you a few minutes to write down the definitions of melting point, latent heat of fusion, boiling point, and latent heat of vaporization. So please write it down. It starts from here. What is melting point? What is the melting point of ice? Latent heat of fusion, boiling point of water, and latent heat of vaporization. So please write it down. Now moving on further. Next is sublimation process. Next is the sublimation process. So what is sublimation process? A change in state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state and vice versa is known as sublimation process. I repeat the definition of sublimation process. A change in the state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state and vice versa is known as sublimation process. In order to understand this, we will take one activity. Activity number 3 suggests take some compound or ammonium chloride, crush it and put it in a china dish. You can see the diagram in the textbook. Put an inverted funnel over the china dish. Put a cotton plug on the mouth of the funnel, that is in the inverted mouth part of the funnel. Now start the process of heating. What do you observe? The vapors got deposited on the inner part of the funnel and near the cotton, but the compound did not melt on heating. The compound did not get melted on heating. So what you are able to see that the solid form of ammonium chloride or compound has got converted into its gaseous state without even converting into its liquid state. This process is known as sublimation process. You see one more time that Definition: a change in state directly from solid to gas without changing into liquid state and vice versa is known as sublimation process. Activity number 3 will make it clear in your mind what is sublimation process. You can see the diagram in the textbook. Take some camphor or ammonium chloride, crush it and put it in a china dish. Put an inverted funnel over the china dish. Put a cotton plug on the mouth of the funnel, that is the inverted mouth region of the funnel. Now start the process of heating. What do you observe? We are able to observe that the vapors get deposited on the inner part of the funnel and near the cotton plug. But the compound did not melt on heating, which suggests that there is a transformation of the solid form of camphor or ammonium chloride into its gaseous state without even converting into liquid state, which is the sublimation process. Hope all might have understood.